Welcome everyone to the December 30th, 2024 Special Planning Commission meeting. I am Tamara Blake Wallace, Planning Commission Administrator. This meeting is being recorded for video and audio for record-keeping purposes. This meeting will be conducted as a hybrid meeting, allowing for both virtual and in-person participation. I will now go over the rules and etiquette of tonight's meeting. For those attending virtually, please mute your audio to ensure no interruptions to the meeting, and if you wish to speak, raise your Zoom hand. If you are attending by telephone, to mute and unmute, use *6, and to raise your hand, *9. Please say your name every time you speak for the record. When the floor is open for public comment, those attending in person will be called to speak first, and then those attending virtually will be called. Please, at all times, state your name and who you are representing for the record. 2 minutes will be allowed per individual and 5 per group. Please refrain from using the Zoom chat for general comments. Please use the chat to indicate if there are any technical or audio difficulties. I will now turn the meeting over to Chairman Toohey to call the meeting to order.
Good evening. Welcome to the special meeting of the Calvert County Planning Commission. By way of attendance, Commissioner Gadway.
Present.
Commissioner Freeland.
Here.
Commissioner Holler.
Here.
Commissioner Kernan.
Here.
Commissioner McQueen.
Here.
And Commissioner Weems.
Here.
We have full attendance. We have a quorum, so we are called to order. If you'd all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That brings us to item 3, action on the proposed agenda.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved.
Item number 4, action on proposed summary of actions. We do not have any for tonight's meeting. That brings us to item 5, recognitions of persons attending the meeting. Tonight with us in person, we have Mary Beth Cook, Director, Jason Brinkley, Deputy Director of Planning, Tay Harris, Long Range Planner, Rachel O'Shea, Zoning Planner, Will Hager, Planner 3, Amaya Fleet-Tan, Planner 3, and joining us online tonight, we have Judy Makel, Deputy Director of Zoning, Olivia Vedado, Planner 3, Jessica Gattano, Planner 3, Joel Cousineau, Planner 3. We also have from Economic Development, Kathy McAdams, Business Retention Specialist, here with us tonight. And we have Becky Parkinson serving as our Planning Commission Clerk, and John Mattingly as our Legal Counsel. So for tonight, items 6 through 9, major subdivisions for final review and action, applications for site plan review and action, major subdivision applications for preliminary review and action, and long-range planning. We do not have any items on the agenda for those 4 items tonight. That brings us to item 10, items for discussion and or action. Item A, Calvert County Zoning Ordinance Update, memo from Rachel O'Shea, Zoning Planner.
Good evening, Planning Commission.
Good evening. Good evening.
Rachel O'Shea, Zoning Planner with Department of Planning and Zoning, and with me is Will Hager, Planner 3. We do not have a presentation this evening, so I will proceed and read the memo. Background. As mandated in the comprehensive plan, the Calvert County zoning ordinance is adopted to regulate land uses as part of an effort to promote the health, safety, and general welfare of the Calvert County residents. Ordinance 35-06, approved by the Board of County Commissioners, established the current CCZO in May of 2006. Following the adoption of the comprehensive plan, Calvert 2040, staff initiated the process of developing zoning recommendations and a draft ordinance that would bring the zoning ordinance into compliance with the new comprehensive plan. Staff presented articles of the draft zoning ordinance to the BOCC and the Planning Commission at joint work sessions from May 2023 to May of 2024. After addressing unresolved topics with the BOCC, staff completed the August 2024 draft. The draft was subsequently made available for public input, and staff reviewed comments and proposed changes with the BOCC and PC in October of 2024 in preparation for public hearings. Discussion. Staff updated the draft in response to direction from the BOCC and PC, as well as the county attorney's review. The revised November 2024 draft was made available to the public at time the public notice was printed in the newspaper on November 1st, 2024. Also included for consideration at the public hearing with the zoning ordinance update were proposals for amendments to the county's comprehensive plan, amendments to the Huntingtown, St. Leonard, and Solomon's master plans, and town center zoning ordinance text amendments. The Planning Commission held their public hearing on November 20th, 2024, and voted to leave the record open for 30 days, allowing for additional public input until close of business on December 20th, 2024. Fiscal impact, none. Conclusion, recommendation. Staff requests the Planning Commission review and discuss the additional public comments received, included in your package, and make one of the following recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners. 1, recommendation of approval. 2, recommendation of approval with conditions. Or 3, recommendation of denial. In addition, at this point in the process, staff is unable to make changes to the draft. But if the Planning Commission feels that there should be changes made before adoption, those can be included as part of your recommendation as conditions to the Board of County Commissioners. In addition, staff will most likely be reviewing and considering text amendments after adoption of the zoning ordinance, and the Planning Commission is able to submit requests for or text amendments at that time as well as additional options for consideration. So at this time, we will open the floor to the Planning Commission if the members have any questions or comments.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Gentlemen, comments, concerns, questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Rachel, there were 2 comments concerning Section 18-10 motor vehicle and related services. Can you tell us why that Owings, Lusby, and Solomon's Town Center are different from Dunkirk and Prince Frederick Town Centers in regards to fueling in front of stores?
Well, so with regard to town centers, we didn't drastically want to make substantial changes to their uses and their zoning ordinance, since they all have their own separate zoning ordinances. And after the adoption of the county zoning ordinance, we are going to be taking a look and amending each town center zoning ordinance one at a time to bring them up to speed with the county ordinance. We did make some changes for things that needed changing because of consistency and that were super outdated and made, you know, created a lot of conflict when it came to permitting and that sort of thing. The town centers vary drastically with regard to certain uses, and it's just how they have evolved over time. I think as we take a look at the town center, when it comes time to updating each one, we're going to be taking more of a in-depth look at those types of things and making additional changes to the use charts at that time when we look at each town center.
Can I just add something to that? Like Rachel said, when we were putting together the use tables and the use charts, we were more focused on outside of the town center, those zoning districts versus the town center zoning districts themselves for the reasons that Rachel explained. But one of the advantages, I think, of what we did with combining the town center use charts and the conditions is that staff, public, the Planning Commission can more easily make those comparisons and ask those sort of questions. So it's, I think, one of the advantages going forward that we're going to have with the way that we've restructured this ordinance, and I think it's going to allow us to make some better, more appropriate and defendable decisions going forward.
And we know it's going to take some time to get used to the new format for us as well as the public, but we do think it is an improvement. And so in the current ordinance, each town center is separated out into a separate chart, which makes it really difficult because you're flipping through. Now, there's not as much flipping because it's all there in one place for you.
Gentlemen?
Commissioner Freeland, I'm actually more confused now than before when you asked that question. Can you re-ask the question so I properly understand it?
So, under the current ordinance, fueling facilities located in storefronts or at storefronts are not allowed in Solomon, Lusby, and what was the other one, Owens? Where we have in Prince Frederick and Dunkirk, for example, Wawa and 7-Eleven that have their fueling in front of the storefront. Does that answer your question?
It does, and I'm trying to figure out where, other than in front of a storefront, you would want to have your fueling.
In some of the town centers, the requirement is that the fuel stations be behind the building. And that's just a unique fact, designed for those town centers. It's not necessarily a stance one way or the other that we have a preference as a department.
Yes, sir?
So I travel a bit. So I only see this supporting certain gas companies. Okay? Not local gas companies. Okay, because what you're talking about is a standard practice that they do pretty much on the highways, and I don't understand. You guys just put it through a front-loading place in Lusby, in front of a grocery store, and now you're saying that's not allowed, but yet we just did it. So I'm confused about why Lusby and why Owens still. Shouldn't it be the choice of the person and the property in the area, not format that we have to go and fight this when somebody wants to put something in? So is this going in as a must-have, or this is preferred? I mean, we've got 5 gas stations in 1 quarter mile, okay, and none of them meet this code. All right, so it doesn't make sense to what you're saying in Lusby, because where we don't meet the code, we don't have the land for it, because it takes more acreage to do this.
I think you have a good point, and we're not disputing that. It's definitely something I think we'll probably be taking a look at when we take a look at the town center.
Can you give me an example of a fueling station that is not in front of a retail building? I mean, I'm trying to think of all the gas stations, and every gas station I can think of, the gas station is in front of the building.
Fast stop.
Pretty sure there's one between Dunkirk and Huntingtown on the right-hand side as you head south. I can't remember the name of it though, because it's not a place I usually stop to get
Gotcha.
gas, frankly.
I'm just trying to think of an
Well, that's the
example
only one I
that
can think of.
that I can picture.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate on a comment that you made earlier that says that at this point in time, we can't make any changes to the document?
Yeah, so at this point, the document is locked as far as staff being able to go in and make changes. The only way that we can make a change is if we're directed as part of a motion from the Board of County Commissioners.
So we can no longer make that suggestion to you. It has to come from the county commissioners.
Yes, so as part of your motion this evening, if you want the Board of County Commissioners to direct changes, you can include them as conditions as part of your recommendation to the BOCC.
So Commissioner Freeland, how would that get cleared up? Or do you think it would need to?
I I would ask to remove the condition. I believe that's all it takes.
I'm a little uncertain. To ask to remove the condition, you're saying that that would be one of the conditions that we would place
Yeah, it's confusing, but yes.
to the
My
county commissioners?
My condition to the county commissioners would be to remove the condition that's cited in the proposed zoning ordinance.
Okay, excellent.
Does that make sense? Everybody got that?
Would that need to be a motion?
That
or
needs to be a
consent?
motion, I think. Mr. Mattingly, does that need to be a motion?
Yes, or you could include it in your final recommendation, whatever that is, at the end of this. And you can just go through each item that you want to make a condition of your recommendation. I would caution that technically when it comes to the zoning ordinance, only those matters that directly reflect the zoning map. Only those matters that directly affect the zoning map, is there a requirement that the BOCC, that there's a requirement for a recommendation by this commission. So when we're talking about the text of the zoning ordinance itself, your recommendation is really only advisory. When it goes to the actual zoning map itself, then your recommendation is a mandatory component for the BOCC to consider.
Thank you.
This is text, I guess.
I had a question for the attorney.
Certainly, sir.
So within a motion regarding the adoption of this, do we find it to be consistent with the comprehensive plan?
The okay, once again, the zoning map, this is where it kind of gets complicated because there's actually comprehensive plan changes, amendments pending. But any action that you take has to have a consistency finding going forward. So it would be best if you make any finding consistent on the changes that are also, and once again, I don't want to be presumptive, but assuming that the comprehensive plan amendments go forward, you should also make a consistency finding that, yes, that our finding also includes those pending or those amendments that are pending to the comprehensive plan.
Get that?
Yeah, but I don't know how I approve something I don't know that has been approved yet.
Well, I tell you, let me give you, if you have a second, I can actually give you a kind of a. So what, the way you would do it is a prospective motion. So the motion would be that we have reviewed the pending comprehensive plan amendments. Even based on those amendments, we would find that, even considering those amendments, that we would still have a consistency finding, that regardless of the change, those actions we take would still be consistent.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move the planning commission find the proposed zoning ordinance as presented tonight to be consistent with the current comprehensive plan and consistent with the proposed changes to the comprehensive plan with conditions. Condition 1, section 18-10, motor vehicle related services, condition C be removed from the draft. Condition 2, that the areas proposed to change from rural community district to residential district remain under the current definition of rural community district, finding this proposed change to to be inconsistent with the current comprehensive plan.
Second for discussion.
We have a second. Discussion?
Is it possible to continue discussion on other questions and matters and still maintain this motion and add additional conditions to this motion? Or would we have to vote no to this motion in order to add additional conditions?
That's a question for Mr. Magley.
You could do a friendly amendment, assuming. It's generally easier to break it up into pieces, but it is possible to do a friendly amendment.
I would consider an amendment.
Okay. So prior to a vote, can we continue discussion?
I'm for it.
Okay. Regarding industrial the breakouts of the industrials, can you explain a little bit more, drilling down into what it currently is and what the proposed changes are? I mean, just kind of briefly as an overview.
So currently, we only have one industrial district, the I-1
Mhm.
light industrial. In the draft, we've moved to 3 industrial districts, the light industrial that we currently have. I-2 are heavy industrial and a mixed-use district.
Okay.
We took a look at our existing light industrial areas and saw that one district wasn't meeting the needs. And there was more uses located and in existence in those areas than what met the definition for light industrial.
Can you go back? Process that again, so I'm still trying to understand, I'm sorry, what you were just saying. We have currently one industrial right now. And then
One.
when you went through and you reviewed to look at the differences between mixed use, light, and heavy, am I correct so
Yeah,
far?
well, we just took a look at the uses that we had in our industrial areas.
Mhm.
And, there were some that didn't meet the current definition of our light industrial zone district.
Like, for example, help me out.
Some more commercial uses
Okay.
than actual industrial uses. And what
Okay.
we said, we need to do something here.
Okay.
And so we took a look at dividing it up so that we would have light industrial, and then we would provide other areas that could have a little bit more flexibility in the number of uses
Mhm.
that were allowed, so that you would have an area where these different businesses could go, where if they would have another option other than in town center where we wanted to concentrate our commercial uses. Businesses like, if they were first starting out and couldn't afford the higher costs in the town center, this gives them another option. It could also allow for repurpose of those buildings if they weren't being used. They're usually larger and could fit other uses. I think there's a couple of current that were more recreational in those areas, so that was a fit for them.
So you're saying that would have been the definition or the new definition of mixed use?
Yeah,
Okay.
so our industrial mixed-use zone, it allows a little bit more flexibility of a mix of industrial and commercial uses to go in those areas.
And or retail or light manufacturing or something like that?
Mhm.
Okay. So that would be mixed use. Okay. And then, so that's the light industrial, I believe you explained, the mixed use you explained, and then heavy industrial would be defined as what and/or some things are not included in or not allowed.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really allow a lot of heavy industrial in the county, just because we don't have the space or the infrastructure for it. But, some of the uses that we've had for a long time down at the nuclear plant and the power plant, those are really beyond our light industrial. So we created the heavy industrial to fit those areas.
Understood. So in breaking these things up, the existing industrial parks obviously are going to be the ones that are getting changed. And changing it from industrial now to, or introducing the mixed use. And the definitions of the mixed use were those applied countywide if an existing industrial park, if it met all the definitions of what the new mixed use is, did they all get the mixed use category in the proposed, or did some of them stay in industrial?
No, we looked for concentrations of those uses, and there's an area that's been changed off of 231 and an area that's been changed off of Skinner's Turn and a couple others. So no, but the entire industrial park has not been automatically switched over to IMU. There's still a good part of it that is still light industrial as well.
And that's when you're talking about at 231? Okay. What about other industrial parks throughout, or industrial areas throughout the county?
Similar to as well as the one off of Skinner's Turn.
Okay.
I wish we had our maps. We could put it up on the screen.
There are several Skinner's.
I guess where I'm going is, it looked like there was the industrial park where the flag barn is. It looked to me like that met all the definitions of mixed use. It's got retail space, it's got light manufacturing, it's got residential, it's got bingo hall, et
Yeah.
cetera.
Yeah,
And
that one
it
was.
seems to me like that would be the epitome of mixed use.
So one of the things that
Go
we
ahead.
were taking into consideration when we were deciding where to propose the location of the IMU was taking a look at what the comprehensive plan
Okay,
says.
IMU is,
IMU is the Industrial Mixed Use District.
okay, thank you.
So we do have a provision, an action item in the comprehensive plan that states, do not permit additional commercial and retail development along highways outside of town centers under Goal 4, Objective 3 of the Land Use Chapter. Avoid the potential for strict commercial development along highways. So we did not designate any areas that were directly adjacent to Maryland 2-4 as IMU. I think with the concern that that proposal would not be consistent with the comprehensive plan. Now, at that time, when we were looking at potential areas, general retail as a primary use was a permitted use in the IMU. And in the subsequent drafts, a revision was made to remove general retail as a primary use in the IMU. I think that there's some comments from the Department of Economic Development to consider accessory retail, which is, I think, something that we would consider making an adjustment to either through a recommendation or through text amendments in the not too distant future. But that was one of the factors when we looked at areas to consider for the IMU.
Well, in looking at that particular development, it would appear to me, and please help me if I'm wrong here, that the majority of the businesses there would have to be grandfathered in, and then if and when they were to close, they could never reopen in the same type of business. For example, if you've got selling hot tubs and they decide to stop selling hot tubs, a person can't come in there and start selling wood stoves. A person that has a bingo hall, if they close a bingo hall, not that that one ever would close, but somebody else couldn't come in and start another bingo hall, or they couldn't come in and start something and sell retail there. I'm trying to figure out why that particular park, while other parks were granted the ability to maintain their current business models, that park seemed to not be able to be given the opportunity to continue its current business models. And what I heard was, the only answer I heard was, so we don't end up with a strip mall.
There was concerns about consistency with the comprehensive.
Okay, but yet, okay, you've got another place that sells wood stoves down on 231, although they don't have a direct access into the parking lot of the place that sells, I think they actually might even sell hot tubs there too, but
They do.
wood stoves and hot tubs, their front faces the main road. So help me understand the consistency here, if there is one.
I think that there was just less concern about front-facing strip commercial developing along MD 231 at that specific industrial park compared to the potential.
But
for
231 has
redevelopment
worse
along
traffic than
Maryland
24 now. I'm not putting two and two together, I'm sorry. I can't make that part make sense. Do you by any chance know how many different lots are still undeveloped in that park?
In the industrial park of MD 231?
Yes, no, not 231, 24, the one we were talking about, where the bingo hall and the hot tub place is, and I believe there's a Goodyear in there as well, and the house and the other stuff. How many undeveloped lots are up there?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay. All right, because I'm just trying to figure out why that particular property would not be given the same gratis as the other properties throughout the county. If I could offer an amendment to the motion, Commissioner Wilson? Commissioner Freeman?
Absolutely.
I'd like to offer an amendment as a condition that that industrial park be granted the mixed use, industrial mixed use. As it currently exhibits all the examples and definitions of mixed use.
Okay, so that is the third amendment,
That, I
correct?
believe that would have to have a motion and a second on the amendment. Yeah, I believe.
Are there any more friendly amendments? You can take it all in one piece.
Okay.
Gentlemen, are there any other friendly amendments that we'd like to add to this list? Okay, so that seems to be it. Does that stand as a motion, Commissioner Gabbard?
I made it as a motion, yes, sir.
Certainly. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Okay.
Prior to a vote, I would like to make a couple of comments, though.
Oh, certainly.
I do appreciate the work tonight, but I do just want to clarify with the conditions permitted this evening, or the conditions that are currently in a motion to be approved. It is my understanding that there is no residential upzoning involved anywhere in the text amendments or changes or any of the zoning changes throughout everything. Is that a safe assumption?
Yes. There's been no direct increase in base density. It's either remained the same or it's been reduced.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Oh, thank you, sir. So we all set on comments then?
Call for the question.
Call for the question. We'll take a vote. All those in favor of the current recommendation of approval with conditions, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those, are there any against?
Take individual, please.
You prefer that? Certainly, Ms. Beckett. Commissioner Gadway?
Aye.
Commissioner Freeland?
Aye.
Commissioner Holler?
Yes.
Commissioner Kernan?
Aye.
Commissioner McQueen?
Aye.
Commissioner Weems?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So that gives you 7.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
I just want to thank you guys. This has been a monumental task for you, and you've handled it well.
Very
Thank
well.
Thank you.
Very well.
Well, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to item 11, items of interest. We do not have any on tonight's agenda. I would ask that the planning commission, please do not leave before you see me. I have some things for you to sign. That brings us to item 12, public comment. Do we have anyone in the audience who wishes to speak tonight? Please state your name for the record.
It's recorded, you.
My name is Jason Skaggs. I own Skaggs Site Development and the Sportsplex up in Dunkirk. My property was naturally affected by the decision you guys just made. That was the common sense thing to do, and I appreciate it. Just want to thank you very much.
Good evening. I think I know all of you. I'm retired Commissioner Susan Shaw, and this may not be the perfect forum, but it is a forum that I'm going to use for some comments. I went to the Planning Commission website, and I could not find any mention of this meeting tonight on the county's website under the Planning Commission, except under past meetings. It gives the appearance that you don't want people to show up. Now, I couldn't find it under future meetings. Under future meetings, the first meeting that was mentioned was January 14th or 17th, I've forgotten which. There was absolutely no mention of this meeting except under past meetings, and then I had to scroll way down to find it. So there is a serious problem in the Department of Planning and Zoning with regard to your public presence. And this isn't the first time I've noted this, but at this point, I'm kind of getting tired of it. Because commissioners change every 4 years, and county administrators and deputy administrators change, historical things can get lost. And one of the historical things that apparently has been lost is making sure that you have two eyes look at things. Not just one eye, but two eyes. So the person who's doing the website upgrade, somebody else should be taking a look at that so that you don't miss things like upcoming meetings. Because if somebody is working on something, after a while they don't see it objectively. And throughout county government, there should be a validation system. When I was a commissioner, I proofread every single proclamation. Not because our clerk didn't do a good job, she did. But she'd be working on that proclamation over a period of time, and after a while, you don't see it objectively. And so I could come along and objectively look at it and say, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense, or we misspelled this, or I don't think that's how that person spells their name, or whatever it was. And very rarely did we give public proclamations that had to be reapproved. So that's just an example. The second thing is, are you guys getting a historical perspective? Because I sure as heck didn't hear it tonight. And the historic perspective that there have to be some people in planning and zoning, I'm hoping, that either can go back and look at the history or know the history. So there's been quite a history about recreational facilities in industrial parks. When I first became a commissioner, it was absolutely forbidden. You could not have a recreational facility in an industrially zoned area. And because some recreational facilities could not find any other place to locate, we decided to change that and allow recreational facilities in industrial areas. But there were concerns, and one of the concerns was on Skinner's Turn Road with Rubblebee being right across the street from a recreational place where kids were lining up in front of the building, watching the dump trucks dump the trash at Rubble B, and there was no safeguards whatsoever. So there's history here. Are you all familiar with that history? Some of you are. Is everybody? Because everybody really needs to be on the same page and have some of this history. You've got young staff people here that I'm sure are doing a good job, but I don't know that they have that historical perspective, and it really is helpful to have it. I think it's very important. The third thing I'm going to mention is
Ms. Shaw?
I've gone way over my time limit. Would you guys like to extend my time limit?
I would, yes.
One of the other things that I think, I've got to get my focus back here for a second. Changing the rules after the fact should be avoided whenever possible. That's what gives the county a bad reputation as a place to do business. And a good example is that industrial park in Dunkirk. That should be grandfathered. There shouldn't be any question about changing the zoning after the fact. That there was, and that they picked that out, as you pointed out, Mr. Gadway, despite the exact same conditions in the industrial park in Prince Frederick, but the industrial park in Prince Frederick is owned by Calvert County. So do we have different rules there? And I'm not saying that we do, but it gives that appearance. And it gives the appearance that you're changing the rules after the fact on certain people. So there needs to be consistency, and not just that it meets the letter of the comprehensive plan. Maybe the comprehensive plan needs to be changed, but that it also follows some ethic about fairness, and that and it also opens the county up to lawsuits, because changing the rules after the fact is not looked upon well by the court system. And then the county's paying legal fees. The person who had the rules changed on them is paying legal fees. And what on earth does that accomplish? So I really appreciate the hard work that you all are doing. I know I went through one complete rewrite of the zoning ordinance and another partial rewrite, and twice we went through the plan, the comprehensive plan while I was a commissioner, and it's a hell of a lot of work, and there are a lot of details. But it helps to have an overriding belief system that you're going to be fair, that you're going to not change the rules after the fact on people who have already spent millions of dollars trying to develop their property. Some things like that. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Sir.
As a housekeeping matter, we had approximately 11 other potential motions, items that staff had previously presented besides just the zoning ordinance itself. I'm assuming staff still wants to go forward on those tonight?
We were under the impression, same as with the public hearing, it was all included in one package. If they want to break it up into individual items, that's up to them.
Well, it's 11 different resolutions, because each one of them is some of them affect some town centers, some of them don't affect other town centers. One of them definitely has to be taken out aside, that would be the comprehensive plan, I believe, the amendment to the county comprehensive plan, and there's also edits to the zoning map, which need to be, that definitely needs to be a separate resolution. I wasn't clear if you were going forward on that tonight or not, or if you were just going forward
Yes,
on the zoning.
yes, it all
Everything.
needs to be
Okay,
decided.
then we're gonna need those 11.
I'm not unaware of those.
I'll let staff handle it from here, I'm just handling
yeah,
the legal
where are
side
they?
of it.
Yeah.
Can you say you are or not?
That's what I was, and I apologize, when you asked the question previously, that's what I was kind of speaking to, is the amendments to the comprehensive plan, that, the consistency findings, et cetera, so.
If I could ask for clarification, what resolutions or amendments are you talking about, and have those been presented to us?
There were.
Yes, they were all presented the night of the public hearing on November 20th.
Okay.
There was, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is what my notes have. I have,
Good, yeah.
I have the amendment to the comprehensive plan itself.
Yes.
I have amendments to Huntingtown, Solomon, St. Leonard, a resolution for the zoning map edits, and then 6 text amendments. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
all of this stuff.
Yeah, that's what that is, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I had from our last meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we have it. Yeah.
So it's the full Calvert County zoning ordinance update,
Got
full
it.
complete update. Also including maps,
Right.
official adoption
He
of,
used fancy legal language and I didn't understand it.
that's
But
okay.
But it's all in here.
It included in the package, along with the zoning ordinance and the maps, is amendments to the comprehensive
Got it.
plan. And then 3 town center master
Right, right,
plans,
right.
Solomon's,
Yep.
Huntingtown, and St. Leonard. And then 6 text amendments to different town center zoning ordinances. Some of the text amendments affect all the town centers, some of them only affect a few. I can run down the
I-
list of all 6 text amendments if you want me to. I can
After
give
he
you
after
a
he
summary
explained
of
and-
each one.
After he explained and what he was talking about, I'm totally fine. I do know about it. It's all here and I've reviewed it all. And originally, I think we were all on the same page as where is it, what is it. I'm comfortable with knowing that what it was.
Good.
And we've already voted on it.
Yeah.
My apologies. I thought it was understood that the motion was for the full package of
It was.
amendments.
It is.
It is.
Yes, we're fine.
Okay.
All right.
Are you sure?
Bradley, are you satisfied?
Are you satisfied?
sure?
I live to serve you. If you're happy with it, I am. As a general rule, any amendment to the comprehensive plan should be taken out separately. Any amendment, any proposed or recommendation for a zoning map edit should be as well. And as far as the town centers, I guess we could take those together, and the text amendments we could take together, but I think as a matter of housekeeping, we really need to take the comprehensive plan amendment out separately as a separate motion.
Y'all are violating the open public meetings law because it's not on your agenda.
That was my concern.
No, it's
That was my
not.
concern. Yep. That's my concern.
It's all in
Susan's
part of the
right.
package, right?
Well, they didn't get this thing.
Oh, it wasn't public?
No.
Okay.
And Susan said she didn't know about the meeting, so she didn't get that.
Still not up there.
Is it on the agenda?
It's not on tonight's agenda.
No, it's not on tonight's agenda.
Do you have your agenda?
Here's what I have. Also,
It's included in the memo.
yeah, here's what I have. Also included for consideration at the public hearing with the zoning ordinance update were proposals for amendments to the county's comprehensive plan, amendments to Huntingtown, St. Leonard, and Solomon's master plans,
Yeah.
town center,
Yeah.
center zoning ordinance text amendments.
That's not this one.
Where does it say that on your
Yeah,
agenda?
see, that's what I'm saying.
This was November agenda, which is correct. the December agenda for tonight. I don't have a hard copy of, because I couldn't get it, so I don't know the comparison.
What was on the agenda for
I
tonight?
see a copy of the agenda.
Items for discussion, item 10A is the Calvert County zoning ordinance update, memo, and public comments.
Here's what November was. November had everything.
Is there a link to each of these amendments?
Those are this yours.
Mr. Batten, can these separate pieces be added into the January or February regular meeting of the Calvert County Planning Commission?
That would be the better course of action. If in fact that the amendments weren't links in the agenda, that might be the better course of action, because the problem is ultimately you're gonna have an OMA challenge to this if these items are passed tonight.
We can't
I think I have no problem with the zoning ordinance going forward tonight. That was properly presented. The problem, text amendments don't appear on this.
They were there, but that was November.
That's not tonight.
I know.
We're talking
I know,
about
I know.
OMA problem.
I understand. I'm saying the November agenda was done correctly, but the December was not.
Okay, yeah, well, that's, yeah.
Right. How does that affect our motions and our conditions? Does it nullify them, or do they stay intact?
I mean, the zoning ordinance, everyone was put on notice under the Open Meetings Act of the proposed zoning ordinance and your recommendations for it. Okay? I don't know what was in the legal notice.
And the motion included the amended comprehensive plan, or to be amended comprehensive plan.
It did, right. So would that be legal? It's fuzzy, yeah, yeah, I agree.
In other words, here's ultimately, here's the problem. Whatever action you take, there's gonna be a challenge. And the challenge is gonna be, there's no notice under the Open Meetings Act proper, and the remedy under that is number one.
It's a
I'm
sidebar.
giving legal advice.
Sidebar.
There's no reason you can't give legal advice publicly. This is not, did you guys make a motion to go into executive session?
He's giving legal advice right now, so.
So, the Open Meetings Act.
Violating the Open
Not only
Public
is it,
Meetings
not only
Act.
strike the action I take here.
Can we just adjourn the meeting?
Yeah.
Prior to adjourning the meeting, direct staff to come back at the next January meeting with the
You're gonna
proper
have to.
agenda, whatever.
You're gonna have to, you're gonna do 14 days.
Motion,
At-
sir?
At the conclusion of public comment, I would like to make a motion, because we're still currently in public comment.
Okay.
At the end of public comment, I will be making a motion to adjourn the meeting, directing staff to come to make proper legal and notice changes for whatever actions need to be addressed at the January meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
We're not acting on that until in public comment.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, so we're back to public comment then.
Is there anyone else for public comment in the audience? Is there anyone online who wishes to speak?
There's somebody back there who wants to speak.
Okay?
Oh, certainly, sir. Come on up. And your name for the public record, sir.
My name is Sean McGuire. I'm a resident of Lusby. Here speaking on behalf of Save Lusby Incorporated. We are a nonprofit volunteer organization that filed suit against the Planning Commission's was it August 21st decision to move forward with the Lusby Villas project. We at present have that paused while the legalese is all figured out and everything, but I just wanted to introduce myself to everybody in the room. We need your support. We feel that on the July 9th meeting that we had with Mike Hart and Catherine Grasso, and several of you folks were there, that the town of Lusby came out and spoke out against this, expressed their concerns with factual data as to why this was not good for the community. And on August 21st, we were ignored by 4 of you. This is exactly what happened. Our voice was not heard. And I just wanted to introduce myself to everybody in the room. Figure all you guys already know me as it is anyways, but I just wanted to get up and speak for Save Lusby. We need your help, and if anybody has any questions or would like to learn more about it, please see me after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak?
Mr. Estes?
Yeah, I'd like to speak. This is
Hold on, Mr. Oberg.
Steve Oberg.
Hold on, Mr. Oberg, please. We have one more speaker in the audience.
My name's Bob Estes. I'm speaking for myself, and I can't tell you how happy I am that some of that upzoning got taken out, perhaps, that you all voted on that. We talk about the comprehensive plan, and we talk about whether what you all are doing is consistent with it, but sometimes we forget what the comprehensive plan says. There's lots of stuff in there that we agree with, and there's things like, you know how sensitive I am about ecological health of our county, and that's part of what makes our county beautiful. But I find that sometimes it doesn't appear to me that you all corporately are paying attention to that tricky little item. And so one way to make the watersheds and other parts of the county more healthy is to not have so much development. Because I know for a fact, and I think Mr. Toohey knows for a fact, where that water goes, it doesn't go to any place good, generally speaking. And I'm hoping that we're going to be increasing the effectiveness of the stormwater management systems, but until we get that done, preventing more housing units, which really don't buy the citizens any benefit. It buys some people some benefit, obviously, the people that build it. But I'm very happy that you all have taken what I consider a very courageous and forward-looking step in reducing some of the build-out. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak? One more.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Susan DeZurek, and on behalf of Keep Calvert Country, I also would like to thank you for keeping the RCD rather than upzoning to the RD and having that in your amendment tonight. It is very much appreciated, and I'm sure that if the citizens of Calvert County knew it as a whole, that they would be very appreciative that it will keep thousands of cars being placed on our highways, and the cost to the taxpayers for additional highways, additional schools, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you again for your time and for hearing us when we submitted our comments. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Josh Johnson. Appreciate all you being here tonight. I know there's probably other places New Year's coming around that you'd like to be. 2016, since 2016, there's been a 5% population increase with a 15% population increase in housing. Now, who are we building the houses for? That's kind of the question that we have with the Lusby Villas. There's legality that's involved, and most importantly, the comprehensive plan has to be maintained and seen by the taxpayers. The taxpayers have said no, and appreciate the moves that you've already done. You do need to discover and look higher, at a higher level with Lusby. There's definitely legality that Lusby Villas has, and there's documents behind that. And I think more importantly than anything else, an individual that has spent 20 years pontificating on the idea that he might build or might not build with a 1-year capability to do so, when you're listening to the taxpayers, it's about time that you said no. So appreciate Lusby Villas being here tonight, and Save Lusby, I should say. And I appreciate the forward progress that you've made too. I know that's not easy with the comprehensive plan with a different vision 15, 20 years ago. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak? Mr. Oberg?
Yeah, thank you. Steve Oberg on behalf of Rubbleby. I really just wanted clarification for the record as to why the text amendment that was in the packet submitted on behalf of my client is not being addressed today, just so it's clear for myself and my client.
Lack of notice.
It was on the agenda. I wanted to. It's in the public comment. I believe Ms. O'Shea mentioned that it was in the packet that was provided out. I don't see where there's any more or less notice on that issue than any others. It's in the same packet of material that,
Yes,
as
it
the
is in
information that was
comment
previously
package.
discussed tonight. Is that not right, Ms. O'Shea?
It is in the comment package.
It's not on the public agenda.
And all the commissioners did receive it. Any other comments?
Do we have any other comments?
Call the question.
Certainly, sir. We have a motion and a second available. Would you restate it, Mr. Gadwick, for clarity's sake?
I don't know that I'll be able to restate it verbatim.
You can do it better than anyone.
Because I winged it, but it is a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting and direct staff to come back at the January meeting with proper legal and notification to where we can finalize and continue and finalize what may or may not have been on the agenda tonight that still needs to be accomplished.
Thank you. And does your second still stand?
Still stands.
Commissioner?
Yes.
Is there any discussion on the matter? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it stands. Now, adjourned, although I would like to thank Ms. Cook for all her years of service. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The best of luck to you in your future much better job, as those of us who are doing it now can tell you. And I'd like to congratulate you too on how you have left your department, that you can walk away confident that you have built a solid staff and young people to take over for the next generation. Congratulations on that. You've done a wonderful job as far as I can see. Thank you. And we stand adjourned.